All right, welcome back to another video here on the Gridiron with Chance Aspen. Before we get into this video, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and now enjoy this video. All right, welcome back to another 5 NFL thoughts. This one is from the Divisional Round of the playoffs. Let's get into it. Thought number 1. It was a tough loss for the Detroit Lions, and there's a couple reasons why it was a tough loss. Obviously, losing in the playoffs is always tough. Nobody wants to lose in the playoffs. When you do, it's upsetting. It sucks. Season's over. You got to restart. But there are a couple of things that I want to talk about from this Detroit Lions playoff loss to the Washington Commanders. The first thing, there will always be a what if with this football team. What if they were healthy? Because let's be honest, their defense was depleted with injuries. It started with Aiden Hutchinson, and it just went down and down and down. And by the end of the year, they barely had healthy bodies to even play. And so I think as time goes on, you'll always question, what if we were fully healthy? The front office, the coaches, the players will always have that in the back of their head from this team. What if this defense was fully healthy? Now, we know the offense was fully healthy, and there's no excuse for how they played against Washington. But their defense wasn't. And their defense was never the same once really Aiden Hutchinson went down with injury. They were never the same team after that. And I think having that what if sucks, because you'll just never know. Because when they were fully healthy and their defense was fully healthy, they looked like the best team in the NFL. They looked like they were going to be Super Bowl favorites, or they were going to win the Super Bowl. The second thing from this loss, you might never have a season like this again. It's very hard to win in the NFL. It's very hard to win 15 games in the NFL. Like, seasons like this don't happen often. And so when they happen, you have to take advantage of it. You don't become 15-2 overnight. You don't get home field advantage, number 1 seed every year. It's very hard to do that. And so it almost feels like a missed opportunity. Because not every year you're going to be 15-2 and have home field throughout the playoffs. And winning in the playoffs is a lot harder to win on the road than at home. The last thing. In the end, the Detroit Lions' aggressiveness cost them. Everybody loves Dan Campbell. He's a great coach. Everybody loves Ben Johnson. He's a great coach, great play caller. But I thought they got way too aggressive. Like, asking a receiver to throw the ball down the field in a playoff game probably isn't the wisest decision. It probably isn't a great decision. And it almost felt like they needed to do those trick plays to move the ball, which is never a great sign. When you have to run trick plays just to move the ball down the field, it's probably not a great thing. Look, Jared Goff didn't play well either. He's going to take a lot of criticism for how he played. He turned into the Jared Goff that we saw near the end in LA, the reason why the Rams traded him. Overall, it's just a really disappointing season for the Detroit Lions, especially with all the hype they had going into this year. They were one of the Super Bowl favorites to begin the year, and to go out in the divisional round of the playoffs, to not even make the conference championship game, is a tough pill to swallow if you're a Detroit Lions fan, player, coach, in the front office, whatever. It's a tough pill to swallow. Thought number 2. The Philadelphia Eagles are such a weird team. And what do I mean by that? They have all the talent in the world. Like, talent top to bottom, they're probably the best roster in the NFL. But they don't play like it. They don't play like a good team. They play like they have a lot of talent and they can beat teams just solely on talent. So let's talk about the offensive side of the ball. Offensive side of the ball, their passing game is atrocious. It has been since Jalen Hurts came back after his concussion. They can't really throw the ball. All they can do is line up and give the ball to Saquon Barkley, and he hits home run after home run after home run. They got the best offensive line in football, and they got the best running back in football. And they hope that's enough. Now, is it going to be enough? down the line to go win a Super Bowl? Maybe. But they're going to need this passing game to wake up. They're going to need this passing game to show up in the conference championship game and in the Super Bowl. I don't believe you can win the Super Bowl just having one play. You can't just be a running team and win the Super Bowl. I don't believe in this day and age you cannot just win a Super Bowl by just running the ball. But they're such a weird team because they play nothing like a team. But they have so much talent that they just beat team after team after team. Thought number 3. The Kansas City Chiefs are inevitable at this point. They just find ways to win. Even when they're not playing great, even when the opponent outgains them, outplays them, does everything better than them, they beat them. Which is amazing. They went 15-2 this year. And they were not a 15-2 team. The Lions were a 15-2 team. Because they beat down on people. The Chiefs never did that. And they still went 15-2. And now they're in their 7th straight AFC championship game. That's amazing. Yes, do they get calls that other teams don't get? Absolutely. I think some Chiefs fans would even admit that. But just to be this good and this much better in clutch situations. And it's not just Patrick Mahomes. I know we love Patrick Mahomes. He's one of the best players ever. But it's their defense. It's Steve Spagnuolo. Every time the Texans got in 3rd and long or they went for it on 4th down, Steve Spagnuolo would dial something up to get pressure on C.J. Stroud, and it worked every time. Their defense is clutch. Their offense is clutch. Their special teams is clutch. Remember the blocked field goal against Denver in the regular season? And Andy Reid is one of the best coaches in football, if not the best coach in football right now. Thought number 4. That was a legacy game for the Buffalo Bills against the Baltimore Ravens. It really was. Coming off losing 2 straight divisional games at home. 1 to Cincinnati, 1 to Kansas City. At home. And if you would have lost this game after leading 21-10 at the half against Baltimore, I think you would have seen some major changes within this organization. I think we would have seen maybe Sean McDermott go, Brandon Beam go. Something would have happened within this organization if they would have lost this game. Especially if they would have lost that 20-10 lead at the half. Because that would have been even worse. I also thought it was a really big game for Sean McDermott as far as just showing how good he is actually as a head coach. Right? He's a defensive coach. I thought his defensive game plan was spectacular. He was able to keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket for most of the game. Lamar never really had that spectacular run that he normally has or some of those spectacular throws that he had. He got a couple near the end of the game on that final drive. But I thought McDermott really showed what kind of coach he is. And I thought he had his team prepared to play. They didn't make many mistakes. They didn't have many penalties. They didn't do a lot of stupid things. They controlled the game on both sides of the ball. And I thought it was a big game for McDermott. Because nobody really knows McDermott. And he's not really up there as far as one of the best coaches in the NFL. So I thought him showing his game planning in this game showed what a great coach he actually is. For Josh Allen, I don't know if it's really a legacy game for Josh Allen. I think he's the only one. Some people will give it to him because he's a quarterback. But he didn't have the numbers that I would say should make it a legacy game for him. He played great, but he just wasn't asked to do a whole lot against Baltimore. My 5th and final thought here from the divisional round of the playoffs. Here it is, thought number 5. This playoff loss was not on Lamar Jackson. Now, Lamar was good, but he wasn't great. He had the 2 turnovers. He didn't look like Lamar Jackson in the first half. Now, in the second half, he started to look like the MVP Lamar Jackson that we saw all regular season long. But really what this game will come down to and what this game will be remembered as is the Mark Andrews game. Mark Andrews with that drop on that 2-point conversion. And really, to me, the play that kind of costed them the game. I know people talk about the 2-point conversion drop, But the play that was even worse was the fumble, the drive before the last drive. That's the play that really hurt them. Because they were driving down the field. They just got a big completion of Mark Andrews. And then Mark Andrews tries to make 3 guys miss and take it 50 yards of the house. And it's like, Mark, that's not your game. That's not Mark Andrews. And I just thought in that moment, you have to understand where you are. You're in the playoffs, on the road. That's a situation where you kind of just want to see Mark Andrews just go down. Just go down. Live to play another play. Understand who you have on your team. You have the MVP on your team. Give him more chances to touch the football. And so in my opinion, I thought the fumble was a lot worse than the drop on the 2-point conversion. But that's my NFL thoughts here from the divisional round of the playoffs. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Again, like, subscribe, comment, and have an awesome day.